now.
Cool.
Does that work?
Yep.
Sick. Well, did you already get everything done?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I was in here, so I'm gonna hit and did it. But now that I got the microphone version on, now I don't know what to talk about. So.
Well, of course. You haven't been sitting here alone with your thoughts for the last 20 minutes.
I have, and I'll research questions, I'll come up with ideas and stuff like that, but then I'll forget them. Move on. Just like...
I feel that. Did you ever put that thing on Facebook about what are questions you want answered?
I haven't put anything out publicly or anything. Yeah, I don't think it's been any secret. I've probably been a little lazy with it, so.
What? Me too. It's fun.
Yeah. Good morning. It is, 7:40 in the morning, and Taylor she wasn't even kidding. 7:40 is her time. And then she reaches back on camera to show you that she's got dos café con leches today.
Higher grounds today, in case you wonder.
Oh, dang, you went big time.
Is it?
Yeah, Higher Grounds are Root House, and you're going big time in town. Well, I guess Starbucks.
Starbucks is closed.
Well, look at you spending your money with a local. Look at you. Look at you.
I was going to say, and it's so much better. I'm not even going to lie.
Is it?
And Root House.
And you can do it online. You can order online too.
I just saw that today.
Yeah.
So I will stop drinking coffee.
Yeah, there's so many things now in Pagosa that you can do online. Like you can order your groceries online and have them delivered. You can do Walmart online. Amazon is still prevalent in the online space. That 2-day, 3-day, 5-day shipping, whatever it is out here. They still advertise it as 2-day, but I don't know if it's necessarily 2-day.
Well, Texas, it was 2 hours, so nothing will ever be that good again.
No, that's a pretty amazing. Yeah, San Diego had unveiled that right when we were heading out, and I was like, that's convenient. And they would deliver on Sunday too, which I feel bad for those poor logistics people. I know you get paid, and I know there's money and all that stuff, but man, Sunday. I don't know. It seems brutal delivering packages. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody's home. Honestly. Yeah, everybody's home. But
it's no contact because they started that during COVID, right? Because I know that's when I ended up having I didn't have like a shopping problem, but I did a bit of shopping during COVID, and I would just want to start I would want to start a new craft.
Some would deem it to be a problem. Others would deem it just to be a bit of shopping, right?
Depends whose money was being used.
Okay.
But no, yeah, I get the urge to start a craft or something and look around at what I had and realize I had nothing for it. So I just go on Amazon, look at everything, and within literally 2 to 3 hours, it was at my doorstep and I could start. And it was...
That's dangerous.
It's so bad.
Yeah, they can get expensive quick.
Yeah.
It did.
It did real quick.
Well, we noticed that with DoorDash too when we leave town. And there's a couple, again, DoorDash, that's another one that you can get in Pagosa now, that there's a couple options on there. I think it has Sonic, McDonald's, Benny's, Long, and I know I'm mispronouncing that, but me, and everybody knows that's amazing food over there, but me.
Where?
Behind Sushi. Up on the other side, on the west side of Pagosa. HMONG is the last word. So I'm assuming Mong, and I'm sure I'm butchering that, man. I'm sure.
Let's get you canceled already, kid.
But yeah, there's 4 or 5 restaurants that you can get access to in town. So Pagosa is improving. I'm sure Root House has. Online ordering. I'm sure there's. I don't know all of the businesses in town or all the coffee shops. Bruin being another one. In fact, I almost stopped there to pick up a donut today, but I was like, you know what? I've gone 412 days without doing that, so I might as well not do that today. But that's like right across the street from the barbershop. And so I've always wondered if that would be dangerous. And yeah, it would be if I start picking up freaking donuts.
It's very true. They're good, but honestly, like they're not even a donut. They're like a little cake. Yeah. And that's where it's dangerous. And I'm like, as much as I love sweet things for breakfast, which is why I get coffee, I don't know if I can do like an actual cake for breakfast.
You can't do cake for breakfast?
No, as much as I thought I would as a kid.
I can do cake for breakfast. I can do cake. If I need to, I can do cake for breakfast.
Once in a while.
If I have to, I can do a Swiss cake roll. That's what I can do, a Swiss cake roll. That's what yeah, that's cake. Yes. Yeah, I can do a zebra cake. That I can do. Why do you think they're sold next to the coffee?
Okay, like I agree with that, but my coffee's already so sweet anyway, so if I get like an extra sweet donut with it, I don't know. I'm probably pretty funny for like the first 20 minutes and then like I just want to die and go to sleep.
yeah. I don't want to go from pre-diabetic to diabetic real quick.
Not while you're watching, at least.
No. Oh man. Well, we had something pop off last night, and Taylor is not aware of this because she had already left for the day. But Adolfo, poor guy, he had, it looks like maybe an anxiety attack in the back, and he had to head out. And I'm not trying to put his business out there. I'm just talking about how this. I don't know if you noticed, but she did not hear this yet, and so the poor guy had to step out, and then he ended up calling an ambulance for himself, and then they took him over to the hospital to check him out. But that was probably 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. last night, and so he stepped out, and then he was updating me last night that he's better. I don't know that he's quote unquote okay, but I think he is. He kind of played it down a little bit, but I think he's planning on being in to work today. But that was something that we had last night. So we're thinking good thoughts for him. And you know, something I was going to talk about this morning that maybe that incident last night made me think is that I have a couple friends in my career path that also cut hair, but they have also struggled with anxiety in this field as well. So I was gonna bring it up to Taylor. I don't know if you have other friends or if you yourself have dealt with anxiety in the barbershop, but have you ever dealt with anything like that? I mean, has it ever landed directly on your shoulders?
Definitely.
You mind expanding a little bit? I know you didn't know this was the topic today.
I did not think anxiety was going to be on the agenda. I mean, yeah, in our field, we definitely realize that we can like make or break days, like depending on how we do our job. It can be someone's wedding day. It could be the day someone's proposing. It could be just someone it could be someone's 13th reason, which sounds terrible, but like our looks have a lot to play on it and we have an effect on them. So that's a very hard thing. Like it's not brain surgery, like it's not that intense, but it is a very stressful job in that sense. I definitely don't think, and I've said this plenty of times, but I don't feel like I'm up to par with you or Adolfo or anything like that. So that gives me anxiety. Like when there's a room full of people, you give out a great haircut, they walk out, he gives out a great haircut, and I don't feel like mine's up to that. Yeah, then I'm like, okay, so the next person, they're not going to want to go to me because they just saw me give this haircut when these two people just gave those haircuts. And then I just feel like it's a trickle down from that. I've also had, I don't know how deep you want me to go into this.
Go as far into this rabbit hole as you'd like.
I don't know. I like the fact that this place is smaller for the fact that there's not usually, 20 people staring at you. When I first started, I worked in a place that was, 3 times as big. We had 8 to 10 stylists at a time. A full room constantly. We were $1 million store, and it was same thing, very pressuring. I was new, so I didn't necessarily, I was even slower than I am now. Didn't give out the best haircuts or whatever. So I would get pretty consistent panic attacks where I would go into the back, take like a good hour lunch, and then either get over it or I would go home for the day. Or I would have, even other factors in my life that would happen to where the thought of being in front of somebody and having anxiety. My thing is, I feel like if you have anxiety, people can tell. Like, people can feed off of that immediately. So if you're standing there and let's say something at home's happening and you're just like an anxious wreck, you just feel like they're going to be an anxious wreck. And then y'all are just going to feed off of that. And eventually it's just going to not be, I don't know, a good thing. This is a hard topic.
It is. And that's, while we're doing that, I'm going to step over and make sure that this is still going. It is, and I actually did not plan for this to be the topic this morning. I told Taylor when we started this, I can't remember if I had the microphones on, but I don't really have a plan on this chat. It's just chat. But something that was relevant from the barbershop is that did occur on one of our fellow team members, one of our family. At this point in time, Adolfo's been working here with me for 6+ years, and we're coming up on 3 years with Taylor. So, within this close proximity, if you're listening at home, let's paint how big this room is. You're probably about 14 feet wide by about, let's say, 20 feet long. And so that's 2 persons standing side by side in a cinder block room, and you can probably hear some of the echo in the background that a voice projects, and you learn, or you get the opportunity to possibly learn a little bit about that person that you work next to. And Adolfo, I stood next to him probably for 4 years, and now Taylor, we're probably coming up on a year or something like that of duration. It's longer than that, but I think consistently now we're probably at a year. Adolfo, in the past 2 years, has really increased his demand for himself in appointments, and so I moved him to a more appointment-friendly spot in the barbershop. And that way, but that closes the door on our standing next to each other and hearing all this stuff. But, bringing the topic back to anxiety, being the guy who started a podcast in here, or being the guy who owns the barbershop, stands up in the front space, notices that my personality a lot of times can dictate what the room is doing. Taylor's personality can dictate what the room is doing. And a lot of times, if my personality is not received, or things like that, or you can see some opposing personalities. We had a guy come in yesterday that he was probably inebriated, and so his personality under the influence pushes back against our personality sometimes, depending on where they are in how inebriated they are.
He made me anxious.
Yeah. So, right? Especially if they want you to line up their beard and now you've got a razor. I had a guy one time in my chair that I wouldn't refer to it as anxiety, but I always think of it as nervousness. So that is probably anxiety on some level, right? I don't know what the clinical definitions are of that, but I would think that there's a close, yeah, there. And in the end, I remember I had a guy in my chair one time that he had 3 beers in the shop, and I will give him credit, he had waited 2 hours for a haircut. Then he got Taylor to cut his hair, and I was going to do the beard. Taylor had not gotten herself, she was still going through her reps in the barbershop, and she was, not there yet. So I was going to do his beard, and this guy, man, he would flinch. If you're watching on the video, he would throw his arm up, and almost like there was a fly or something that was really agitating him on his face or something like that, and he would throw his arm up. And I'm telling you, it would be when I would touch him with the razor, but not every time. I would do a couple clean up, and then he would, nerve me a little bit. And so in the end, that definitely added an element of nervousness to me. So, I mean, in fact, that's the only guy I've ever kicked out of my chair that I think it was the fourth time that he did that. And I had to let him go. Like, I'm sorry, man, you're fired from this shave. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but like, I'm gonna have to let you go, man.
Yeah, at some point it becomes like it's dangerous for both of y'all. So I totally understand that.
Sure. And then Taylor brings up some elements of the barbershop that, like a wedding, or when somebody comes in and tells you that their wife's about to be induced for labor this week, and these are haircuts that they will have in these photos forever. Mm-hmm. And it does add an element of peanut butter to the whole thing, where you're just, it all depends. Is that smooth peanut butter? Is that chunky peanut butter? What kind of nervousness does that induce upon us? Or upon each barber? And if you're listening at home, or if you're watching, by now that most barbershops are basically barber to barber. Now, the barbershop itself can be an umbrella of protection from anxiety, from overstimulation from certain things, because a barbershop, the facade that it presents, sometimes can push back against certain personalities that they may not want to come in there and challenge that based on personalities. But at the same time, it can also bring and invite personalities, and something that Taylor's probably learned, and I know Adolfo's learned before, is that there are hard personalities at every price point. Okay? Like there are anxiety-inducing personalities at every freaking price point, okay? If we were charging $5 for a haircut, there's an anxiety, there's a stressful person in the $5 price point. If we're charging $100, same thing. There's somebody that's just as casual, and there's somebody that's just as inducing as the other. And so that's not to incriminate anybody or anything like that, or to change anybody's way in which they approach the barbershop. It's just addressing something that I noticed, kind of occur and break out at the barbershop last night. Let's see, Taylor's been working here almost 3 years.
It'll be 3 years on the 14th of December.
14th of December. Wow. Mm-hmm. What is that, like a day that's completely ripped out of every year? Just
Nope, I just remember it because...
Just get a black marker and just scratch it out for an hour?
No, because it freaked me out, because I was new to the place and it was fixing to be Christmas, and I knew that 2 week prior to was going to be crazy. And I'm starting at the worst possible time to be in a new place.
Okay, is it the worst? Now looking back, is it the worst possible time to be starting at any place?
Nah.
Okay.
No. People are very generous when you are new somewhere, especially around the holidays, so it was really good money, first off. And then it was just more of the same thing, like anxiety of starting a new place, the kind of situation. But looking back now, it was still one of the easiest, busiest but easiest couple of weeks I've ever, had somewhere new. So I wouldn't say it was a bad thing.
Was the first shop you were in, was that the hardest transition into that floor, into that workplace?
Yep.
Was that the hardest one?
First haircut I ever did was a probably 4-year-old kid, and
pressure's on.
And as you could imagine, I cut his ear right on top, going around with the trimmers. So I thought I was done after that.
That's a tough one to start on.
It's terrifying. So yeah, after that, I just walked to the back, and I go to my boss, which was my best friend's sister, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go home. I can't do this. She's like, what happened? And I'm like, well, I cut him. And yeah, and she's like, you know how many people I cut? I'm like, yeah, but not on your first one. She's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, you're just trying to make me feel better. She was, but I was lucky enough that she was a really good like manager, person to come to and talk about those kinds of things too, that, you know, she kept me coming back. So.
Did you notice some of your peers peel off during that first entry process, and why do you think those folks peeled off? Do you think it is part connected to like anxiety, like we were talking earlier, that like the stress of someone's look and the burden of that
Definitely.
wears on them?
Yeah, that first year is terrifying because, well, something a lot of y'all probably don't know is that I went to Cosmo school. I didn't go to barber school. So I touched one dude's head of hair in my school before going out into the real world and jumping straight into a barbershop. Don't get me wrong, that one dude in school, he was like, no one wanted him. He was like mean, like no one could do anything right on him, right? He ended up coming back to me over and over because I did something right there, or, you know, dazzling personality.
Also, from his point of view, when he's been unaccepted in a chair repeatedly, when someone finally, I wouldn't say you accepted him, but if you did not accept him, you know, he might find his way back into your chair, you know, just by default, you know, just comfortability, you know, of that process.
It's because I'm a playa, but
Oh,
no, I'm kidding.
I like that. I like that. She must have had a drip on her nose because she was notching the nose off with the other knuckle. Just a little powder off the nose, you know, just a little powder off the nose. No, Taylor, and I mean, you're listening at home, listen to her voice in comparison to mine, right? That should tell you, just personality-wise, an interaction. That should give you at least a type of, you know, mental picture of what kind of personality to expect from Taylor. And of course that goes along with listening to it at home on a podcast. That's the whole point of this podcast, is to be able to talk about subjects on a more intimate matter, and at the same time present a personality such as Taylor's or Adolfo's, or, you know, some of the personalities that we have in the shop, and let them get on the microphone and you at home be the judge. We can say that Taylor's a sweet, amazing, awesome, blah, blah, blah. But it's you get the opportunity to think about that and let her words process in your head and let it register. And then at the same time, think to yourself, oh, okay, I learned a little bit maybe about this career field. And at the same time, maybe I'll go sit in Taylor's chair. Maybe I'll get the opportunity to experience that. And
maybe I'll try to give her anxiety.
That's
see where it goes from there, you know?
You might. You know, bring a shovel in and just pile it on, buddy. Just, you know, but if you come in and you end up in Taylor's chair, I will tell you the trick to Taylor's chair. When you come in, you walk in, and you say, hey, I would love to wait for Taylor. I'm over here brokenhearted because you just waved me off. But just look at her station, and if you see a coffee cup up there, and today I see 2 coffee cups, a Coca-Cola, you are going to get an amazing haircut today, just so you know, dude. Like, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be amazing. She's going to be chatty. It's going to be an experience.
In other words, if you want to get a haircut, bring me a coffee. I'll send out a list of my orders from each place.
Okay, well,
there you go.
What's your order today? What's your coffee order today?
Today, this is just a chocolate mocha frap with an extra shot with whip, and that's a caramel frap.
Does that get an extra shot?
No.
Oh, dang.
No.
Wow.
I was gonna mix them, but I didn't have a big enough cup.
Well, look at that. You're halfway done. Now you can mix.
Yeah, I will.
And it's gonna be
I still wanna
melty,
get
so
up.
you get that melty mix.
True. That's
You
what
get
I like
that
about
mocha
fraps.
salty caramel kind of thing. Get that. Get the thing. You know. See, this is what this poor girl has to endure every day. Like, this is This is like, yeah, I keep saying, like, this is going to be the 7th layer of hell for Taylor. Like, it's just going to be a room with my voice playing in the background with all my dumbass jokes, with all my, like, stupid ass stories that I've told 38 times in here, you know?
We've all, see, you know, that's something that I always think is funny and something I know I repeat myself over and over to people, but I only have so many stories to tell, and we're going on like 8 years now of doing this shit. Like,
well, I realized my stories have slowed down once I became more stationary in my like work environment, or more stable. Because now my stories have evolved to other things, where like used to it would be career to career to career, or I don't even know. It'd be just different, and it could be off the wall, where now I feel like I tell less barbering stories than literally anything else, and that's probably where I'm most stable.
oh, same.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Less barbering stories for sure, but like, you know, the same like home stories. Every now and then I'll sprinkle a little fun in there. Could be a lie, could be not, but that's what keeps it interesting. I'll admit it. It's like two truths and or what? Yeah, 2 truths and a lie. Like, you got to figure out what I'm lying about. Is it the fact that, you know, I was Shigo for Halloween, or that I murdered somebody and hid the body in a river? Like, you know, got to keep it interesting.
Well, the river is flowing out there, Taylor.
I wouldn't notice.
Okay, so you bring up Shigo. You dress as Shigo for Halloween. What did everybody dress as for Halloween in your house?
So, littlest one was a rainbow cheetah.
Okay.
7-year-old, she was one of the descendants that I have no idea, any of them. So she was the red one, if anybody knows.
Oh, red.
Yeah, she was red. I was Shigo. And then my fiance was a pack mule, basically. He just carried all the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't dress up.
Oh, I was like, you dress up as a pack mule, huh?
No, well, dress up.
Who am I to say anything? I was like, well, I guess Shrek donkey kind of thing, maybe, you know?
I'm totally going to Shrek next year, and he can be donkey.
Are
That's
you?
wonderful.
Well, at least be Fiona. At least be Fiona.
Why?
Okay, don't let me run with that.
Yeah.
And then Shigo. Let's see. And so who is Shigo? Because you had to explain this to a lot of people in here.
To everybody, except for one girl at Walmart who came up to me and she's like, "You're Shigo, right?" And I'm like, "I like you."
Yep.
But
that'll make your day.
Yeah, it was so sweet.
Especially after a consistent Joker, Riddler kind of thing. But if you know the crowd in the barbershop, it would all make sense that they were all guessing that. Just so you know, especially the 9 a.m. crowd.
Yes, very stereotypical kind of guy.
I got the finger pointed at me on that one. Like that was me.
It was Chuck Norris behind you. Is who I was talking about.
Oh, you were talking about Chuck Norris.
Yeah,
I
totally.
Gotcha.
But Shigo, she was the villain's evil accomplice, whatever you call that, partner, in the cartoon back in like the mid 2000s of Kim Possible, which I thought was a lot bigger than apparently it is, even for older people, because I'm like, oh, their kids would have watched it or something like that, right?
I remember something, but I'm trying to think. That would have been my son. You'd be closer to like my son's age, the oldest one, Eric.
Did you ask
21.
him?
No, I haven't asked him if but I don't recall him watching Kim Possible. He watched,
Ninja Turtles.
No, I'm trying to think. I mean, Cars was big at that when he was coming up, which that's a movie, but I'm trying to think cartoon-wise. We tried SpongeBob for a minute, but like that just didn't work. I mean, I could watch it in college, but I was like, I don't think I'm gonna park my 4-year-old in front of SpongeBob.
Have you seen the Sexy Patrick costumes?
No, I haven't seen those.
There's an episode of SpongeBob where Patrick comes out in like fishnets and long black boots, and that's a whole costume out there for the world.
Well, like I said, when I was in college, I thought SpongeBob was hilarious. I used to have a DVD of it back before we were streaming everything. But I'm trying to think. I mean, Power Rangers. He definitely went through a Power Ranger phase.
We all do.
Yeah, I'm trying. I know I'm missing some very obvious ones, but I mean, he went through like the Caillou when he was a kid.
Hey,
I mean,
Arnold.
these are not in the same category, but like he might have watched something else. But I mean, I don't even remember him watching Transformers or stuff like that. I'm trying. I mean, we just sat down and watched daily news. Just watched
The weather
as a child. We watched the Weather
24/7.
Channel all the time. Like, yeah.
It was Texas, so surprise, it was sunny and 85, 90 degrees.
We just watched Haiti get demolished by, no, dude, no. That's not what we did. And that's a horrible joke, just so you know. That's not even a good joke. I can't believe Taylor's over here laughing at that. You can't encourage me to, say shit like that.
Sometimes you laugh because it's bad, sometimes you laugh because it's funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes you laugh because your paycheck is coming at the end of the week, so.
Touche, booty.
But,
Well, let's see. So what was your favorite cartoon growing up? Was it Kim Possible?
no, it was either Dexter's Laboratory
That's a good one.
or Scooby-Doo. Because, I don't know, Scooby-Doo, yes, it was the same show or same whatever premise over and over and over, but it was just, I don't know, it was funny. And that's why a lot of people smoke pot in our high school growing up.
Because Scooby-Doo?
Because Scooby-Doo, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Once everyone realized
Such an influence.
Shaggy was a stoner.
It was nowhere. It was nothing else. It was just Scooby-Doo.
It was Scooby-Doo only. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's it.
To say, I don't remember them smoking a lot of pot, but in Scooby-Doo, I remember you could probably innuendo with some things, Scooby snacks and.
Well, I remember vividly there were a couple scenes where they would be somewhere in a room, trapped by themselves, whether it was by, on accident by themselves or whatever it is, that they would walk out and there's just smoke rolling out of the room and they are just headed to the kitchen to go get something to eat or find something.
I told Taylor this the other day that Scooby-Doo was not necessarily my favorite cartoon growing up. I don't know, the way it always wrapped up, but they're like, pull his head off, and they pull the mask off, and they're like, it's Stuart from Dig Down the Road, and
Yep.
and I'm like, it's kind of like watching Lassie back in the day. If you just remove Lassie from the picture, it's not really much worth watching. It's just an idiot boy who always gets in trouble, or gets himself in trouble. But I would say the same thing. If you just remove this mystery machine from the equation, it's probably just normal things going on at that house,
Well, something that was eventually brought up that I'm sure wasn't the idea of the show was the fact of it was a show to show you that monsters aren't real, but people are monsters, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
So it goes.
There's a layer there.
There's a layer in there, I would say so.
I did not know that. I didn't know that one. I'm like, wow, that changes the whole thing for me. I'm like, wow, you're watching monsters be monsters.
Surprise, they're people being monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you hear that as a teenager, it gets a little more depressing, but also it kind of makes sense. Monsters aren't real, but people are scary.
Okay, I'll give
And
you
that's
that
why I
one.
wouldn't let my kid go trick-or-treating by herself.
I guess tie it back to anxiety, right? Most likely the anxiety is induced by people and scenarios in which people are involved in that scenario, right? Whether it's in our head, in real life. Would you say that majority of the scenarios that are anxiety inducing for you are people involved? Are persons involved?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, does money induce as much anxiety in your life as people or persons?
No.
Okay.
I'm way more afraid of people than being homeless, I guess.
Okay.
Which
What about?
it's one of those where, again, I do listen to a lot of true crime stuff. So I have all that in the back of my mind constantly, whether I'm driving somewhere in the middle of the night, walking down the street in daylight, walking next to a river, going camping, whatever it is. I have That's the thing that sucks, is I have a million scenarios running through my head constantly, daily. Like, even here, I can be here and be like, you know, cutting hair, having a good time. Kay's over there doing his thing. Someone could just like hop in and try to rob the place one day. Or come
And
in
you'd
and
be like,
someone just pissed.
What
and
up,
like,
bro? Need a fade?
How about this? Free haircut instead. You walk away. I don't call the cops till you're on the other side of the street.
That's right. That's right. I agree with this plan.
Right. Okay. So as long as we're on the same page, we were always told.
Committee for Taylor.
That's fair. We were always told to just give them the money. But anyways, yeah, no, that's what sucks is the fact of there are a million scenarios running through my head like constantly, whether they're bad ones, good ones, what could happen, what has already happened. Like, it does not stop. That's why I like sleeping, because it stops until I get through phases. You know what?
Until you're asleep. And then it starts in the dreams. And then it's like...
Well, I'll stop dreaming for a while. Like, I'll go through phases where I actually dream. And a lot of it really, really started when I was pregnant. So I was never taught, or no one ever told me about pregnancy dreams, where you have the most fucked up dreams of your entire fucking life when you're pregnant. Like true crime in your mind, but involving your family, your kids, your whatever. Yeah. Like, it's bad. So that really started it as well during that time of my life.
Giggles about it. Just giggles.
Would you rather me cry?
Well, touche.
Yeah. So, no, a lot of it does have to do with, like, people and, you know, things happen in life. People show you who they are, and it's just...
Do you think you
people are crazy.
Do you think you see who people are in here? In the barbershop? Do you think that you, from your vantage point, when they come and look at you through the mirror, the standard salon, barbershop interaction technically is usually through the mirror. Mm-hmm. Do you think that people show themselves to you consistently, or do you think that there's a hidden?
I think it's both for sure. I feel like there are some people who come in who think they can hide it really well, but you can tell there's something else there that just isn't, I don't know, not right. And whether it's them trying to be like overly friendly, but you can tell that they're not, their body language isn't overly friendly, if that makes sense. Yeah, like trying too hard without trying. But there are other people who come in who are just like, you can tell are just being their self. And those people I'm so jealous of. Like, people who can just go out and naturally be their self. Because in our line of work, we obviously have to put some sort of stops on us, or...
facade.
Yeah, a facade.
A simple facade. I don't want to call it acting. You could probably use it like an actor or service providers, you know, because we're in the service industry, I think would have something that would be like a facade or a face that they put on, right? Like, but now what's going on in your life? Smile. Lights, camera, action, Mr. DeVille. You know?
Oh, yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to put on some sort of facade that, you know, you may be able to tell you may be able to tell what kind of people we are to an extent of everything, but it's same with y'all sitting down. Like, it's never the full story. We can take as good as guesses as y'all can take at us. But I feel like we do have a good judge of what people are, pretend to be, try to be, and just fully aren't. So
there's a baseline of consistency, and this is what, like, you've probably heard me say in here, and we've talked about it before, that when somebody walks into the barbershop, we get 75 people walk into the barbershop every day. Okay, if somebody walks in and does something that is different from the other 74, it stands out so uniquely. And here they are trying not to be drunk, or trying not to be nervous, or trying not to, somebody made them come in here and they don't even want, they're not angry, but they sure as hell don't want to be here, okay? And that could be a teenager, and it could be adults too. Just know that somebody sends in adults too. Whether it be a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, somebody encourages them and says, hey man, your eyebrows are out of whack and your neck is not even showing. So I would like to see your ears, and so they give them a positive encouragement to come in here, but that doesn't mean that they want to be here. And so what we notice is that there's just a baseline of normalcy when somebody walks in, interacts, that this is the consistent group, this is the placebo, this is the baseline for everybody, this is the standard by which we're going to operate from. And if anybody deviates from that, usually it can stand out. And so the same way if they're ordering a haircut, if they're nervous about getting a beer, over there out of our cooler, well, that might be my first indicator that they're under 21 or something like that. Or maybe they shouldn't be drinking anyways, and it's not for me to decide, but I can think of one larger statured individual that has came in here and kind of found himself migrating over towards the beer fridge, and he is of age. Should he be drinking? I don't think so, but who am I to say otherwise, in that scenario? You're an adult, I'm an adult.
Well, that was, the guy yesterday where he had his beer, somebody else was here with him, and he looks over and he makes a joke. He's like, yeah, go ahead and grab me another beer. And the guy's like, no, I'm not, no. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. So the guy goes to the bathroom, and he's like, can you grab me another beer real quick? And I'm like,
yes. Let's finish the story in the bathroom that came out afterwards. And I'm not trying to because if you notice, we're not saying names. Yeah. Okay, and I'm not giving descriptions or anything like that, so I'm not here to personally incriminate anybody. Well, then he peed all over the bathroom.
Then he peed all over the fucking floor.
Yeah, and Taylor was the next one to go into the bathroom, and nobody had even entered the bathroom since he had gone in. And so he went in there, peed all over the bathroom.
Didn't flush what he made.
Of course, being the female, and don't get me wrong, a male, you can get agitated by that as well. Okay, but female, that's a natural agitation because it does not occur that way for her. And I'm saying it like, just use your head at home, behind the wheel, wherever you're listening to this to. But that's not a scenario that's going to occur, okay, from a female being in the bathroom. It doesn't. I've never ran into it. I've never ran into a female's bathroom where like that, there's a water hose kind of situation going on, okay? But in the barbershop, the person yesterday did seem to find a bowl for his urine. So she stormed out, rightfully so. She needed to go to the bathroom, so she went somewhere else. And in the end, I went in there and cleaned up the bathroom and so on and so forth.
Just clean it up yourself. Like, I don't care if you piss on the floor. Just clean it up. I don't want to know about it.
Like, that's, okay. So I notice it with like elderly, and I mean really elderly, if they come in here and they use the bathroom. It does seem like that's scenarios in which the toilet gets missed sometimes. Okay, but just know that's not all elderly. Okay, that's usually people that are requiring a lot of assistance. Okay, to get into the barbershop, all that stuff. They're requiring some help.
It doesn't happen that much. It really does not.
And then you get a kid once in a while that just for some reason can't seem to make it in the bowl. But yesterday it was a clear one person that did this. And, I don't think that there was intent. But like I said, he definitely was on something in here. By the end of it, I think he got a more aggressive haircut than he probably planned to get. And if I had to guess, it wasn't because of Taylor or myself. It was just because he was probably inebriated. And so his viewpoint of his own hair was conflicted, in the fact that he now wants a really short haircut when I don't know that that's necessarily what he was going to try to get.
He told me originally he wanted a cade cut. It was a cut I did prior to my client before. He's like, yeah, I want something like that.
So what
basically.
would that be? What is that? What
I did on the guy before was a one low faded up and kept like a couple of inches up top. It was still short, but enough to do something with.
So a traditional, classic-looking, prototypical male
basic
haircut.
white boy haircut, yes.
Okay, all right, white boy like me. Yeah.
I'm basic white girl today. I'm fully aware, so I can say that.
Honestly, I feel for that skirt already. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, that's gonna collect a lot of hair. Like that
yeah, but it's already hairy, so it doesn't matter. But yeah,
So he wanted a classic style.
that's what he was saying to the guy. He's like, I'm gonna get that same haircut. I'm gonna get the same one. I'm like, cool. So he sits down and I'm like, this is what I did. This is what I did. Like, are we doing that? He's like, well, no, let's do it as a bald fade. I'm like, okay, so bald and then keep enough to style up top. And he's like, well, let's do a one up top. And I'm like a 1 inch or like still don't have to brush. He's like, no, usually I just shave it. So let's do a bald and a one. And I'm like, this is completely different than you're wanting. So I even show him a one on the side first. And I'm like, so that's how short it's going to be up top. That's what you're wanting. Like I stressed it because it was a big cut.
So would that be anxiety inducing a little bit when somebody
For both of us, I would say so. Yeah.
Do you think it's as much for him?
Definitely. Well, I don't know if you saw him, but yeah, like every 2 minutes he'd be like looking at it being like, yeah, that's short. And I'm like, I told you how short it would be, dude. Like I literally told you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so then I would get anxious because I'm like, maybe I miscommunicated this or something or somehow. I don't truly think I did, but maybe there was something in there. And then he was more worried about his beard though. So there was someone else paying for the haircut. That was saying they wanted it a certain way and he didn't want anything off of it and, compromised. He was like, take off about an inch. And then we get to like half an inch cleaning it up. He's like, you know what, don't take any more off. Just, straighten it out, square it up. Okay, cool. So like did as much as I could without taking off really anything. The guy on the other side is like, no, take off a little more. He's paying. They're both adults. It was a stressful experience because I usually say I listen to who.
Right? It's hard to establish who is the, my grandma used to say, in fact, I've referenced it once or twice on here, she who does the paying does the saying, okay? Mm-hmm. Which is, in kid scenarios, always the go-to. Now, don't get me wrong, if a kid absolutely throws his fit, blows his mind on it, and just temperament and stuff like that, then I'm probably going to back up. Okay, I'm going to remove me from that situation. But in a scenario in which two adults are present, both male, it's not a boyfriend kind of situation or anything where it's like positive affirmations, like, well, you should go a little bit shorter. It's anything. It's literally two males in the room, probably one's a dad and one's a son. Okay, and adults. 30 and 55, okay, as far as like age groups, give or take. But it's hard when somebody doesn't give you a clear line of demarcation of who is the authority figure. And he's an adult. The guy in the chair is an adult. So he's the authority figure. But at the same time, they keep deflecting slightly over to the other person and allowing that interaction to occur. It becomes confusing in the background because who do you listen to? Like, who's in charge here? Like, you know what I mean?
And at points, he'd tell me to just do what I think would be right without taking off too much. And I'm like, okay. And then he'd say, listen to him, he's paying. And then I go to do something. He's like, well, no, let's not take that off or anything like that. And I'm like, that's where it gets confusing. If you tell me to do what I think is right, shut up after that. Like, just don't say it if you don't mean it. That will give me anxiety.
Well, I think that's a fair, way to put it in the barbershop. That don't say it if you don't mean it. Like when people come in and say short, I want short hair. Okay.
But you talk about it before.
It's up to us to decipher that code of what is short to you, not what is short to me. The code is what is short to you.
Yes.
And most haircuts are consistently, now that we've been established in this barbershop for 8 years, yada, yada, there is a precedence that has occurred, that people know on some simple level. They kind of have an idea of what to expect when they say short. But again, it's up to Taylor. When you come in and say something, it's not her job to do what you say. It's her job to interpret what you're saying to get you to where the results match what you want. Does that make sense? So it's more interpretive. Like most barbers can all cut, okay? And they can all cut short. They can all, cut some sort of standard, classic, simple, like she referred to it, white boy haircut, some different things, whatever might match their own personal style. If you had an African-American barber, he's probably more comfortable with African-American hair. Or if you have a Latin barber, he's probably more comfortable with Latin hair.
Or if you're Adolfo, you can do anything.
Yeah. So. And hopefully, at the same time to support Adolfo on that, hopefully he's able to come up with a positive pattern for himself that can reduce anxiety in his personal path in this job. Because like we started with this, I know I'm deviating, I was kind of bouncing around on that topic there for a second, but just to bring it back to anxiety, and to kind of start wrapping it up, anxiety is it's present in probably your life, it's present in my life, it's present in Taylor's life, and it's present in our friend, our friend Adolfo's life. That it's a struggle I think a lot of people deal with. I don't know the roots of it. I didn't look up the psychological bearings and all the different things that come with anxiety, but I know it's there. And I was thinking about it yesterday. From my point of view, I haven't had anxiety in the barbershop on the level of, say, my friends who have removed themselves from the barbershop, or friends that have had to call and ask for help from an ambulance or anything in the barbershop. But that doesn't mean that you yourself aren't experiencing anxiety, or I haven't experienced anxiety as well. It just definitely put it back more in my face after last night and thinking about it this morning and stuff like that, that it is something that is present, it's out there. I sure didn't want to bring up this topic to place more emphasis on one barber or the other, but I think it's to point out that there's different levels of anxiety that everyone seems to deal with. I remember back when I was a young man coming up, in teenage years and stuff like that. And maybe you remember, the anxiety that you would get of trying to approach a girl that you might have had a crush on, or a boy that you had a crush on, whatever, whether it was a teacher or a coach not that you had a crush on them, but whether it was a teacher or a coach that you needed some help from, or you needed to express something to, the thoughts that you build up in your own head leading up to that, they're powerful. And I think a lot of times we forget how powerful our mind really is, that it can build us up, and at the same time it can break us down. And so, hopefully you're getting the proper mental health and the mental help that you need if you deal with these things, and you're seeking it yourself. And we hope that our friends find the help that they need in this time. But you're listening to Cut Up and Listen, a podcast recorded live at Pagosa Springs Barbershop in downtown Pagosa Springs. I didn't really do a big intro today or anything like that. We kind of just jumped right into it. But you got to sit here and listen to Taylor and our take on anxiety as it affects our service industry and the barbershop. And I'm Kate, I'm the owner. And we've got a big event coming up on November 11th, Tuesday. We've got Veterans Day coming up around the corner. It's my favorite working holiday. I know I always say that, but I'm a veteran myself, and I was U.S. Navy 2003 to 7, but every year I close the shop to the general public on Veterans Day, and we open for veterans and veterans alone. You're welcome to come in with your family, bring them in, drink my beer, get a free haircut. My sister-in-law from Pagosa Springs Massage Center comes in, and she provides massages all day for free. Rosie's Pizza always sends pizza every year. Kirk and Audrey Bliss always do an amazing job. My neighborhood, the ranch community, the community members are, I know the women have already chimed in this weekend and said that they are doing baked goods. So we try to do as much as we can. What is mine is yours on Veterans Day. So tell a veteran, hopefully I get this out in time. I think that's really what it's going to boil down to. But tell a veteran, let somebody know that we care about them, we're thankful for their service, and we would love to see them down here from 10 to 5 on November 11th for Veterans Day. Also, another thing that we've got going on in the barbershop, we have a toy drive going on for the Pagosa Community Initiative. We have a toy box set up on the other side of the room, and I would like to challenge this barbershop, myself included, let's fill the box. My wife is president of PCI, and she has definitely told me, go get them dudes with good haircuts to put some toys in that box. And so that's what we're going to do. I've got my poker group. I've challenged them that comes in here. They come in once a month, and I've challenged them, let's get some toys in the box. If you're putting toys in any toy drive this year, think about all ages. My wife has told me that with PCI, teens are often overlooked. And don't get me wrong, we're giving toys because we're giving toys for the overlooked. But a lot of times, teens seem to be overlooked in this process. So, remember that there's, 18 below, 16 below, that those folks, they're still wishing for a Merry Christmas. So let's be doing our part as a community, as the adults who are responsible for showing and setting examples. Like let's put change in the bucket outside City Market. Let's donate and fill this box, this toy box for PCI this year. Find an organization that can benefit from your being involved during the holidays and lean into that. I challenge you, find an organization and do more, do better, be part of that. So thanks for listening to Cut Up and Listen. You've listened to Taylor and Cade, and we're thankful to have you listening out there. I hope you have a great day, have a good fall season, and get ready for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.